shifting their logistics and logistical points of operation. They're moving it to a different part of the world. And so this cleansing of the Ukrainian land is happening with the hands of the Russian forces.
Prove to me that you are alive.
Because you said something very true about the world, hidden deep state systems and hidden leaders. So I wanted to ask you, what do you think about everything that's going on now in the Middle East combined with everything that's going on in Ukraine? You know, everything, Tel Aviv is being bombed. Israel is under attack. In your opinion, these centers of control, these deep states, are they moving sort of their headquarters to the Slavic lands? Because Zbigniew Brzezinski once said that those that control Eurasia control the world, especially if you look at cities like Dnipropetrovsk right now that have the largest Jewish center in the world. So my question is, you know, we're not being anti-Semitic because regular Jewish people are struggling just like anyone else. But these hidden, you know, sort of Masonic, ancient Judeo-Christian systems, you know, are they moving to the Slavic lands, especially now that Russia is becoming you know, a bit more peaceful than it used to be? What do you think about that? Well, look, first of all, when we say the word conspiracy, we're finding out now that that's the Gazette of Truth, the newspaper of truth. Because these control centers, you know, they have to make sort of things known to us before they happen. And to answer your question, I really think that Kissinger once said that the declaration of Lord Balfour, they have a endpoint to the contract of the land of Israel, of the time that they're supposed to occupy that land, until what point. And the people that sort of engineer our reality, and they're, you know, they're shifting their logistics and logistical points of operation. They're moving it to a different part of the world. And so this cleansing of the Ukrainian land is happening with the hands of the Russian forces. And we talked about this for the last 20 years. Kharkiv, Odessa, Krim, obviously, because, you know, they want to control, you know, Russia. They want to control Ukraine, and they want to have a enter point into the world ocean through the Black Sea. And we know in Krim, the Masandric wineries that exist out there, you know, it tells you the story that they would rather be on lands that are fruitile as opposed to deserted lands. And, you know, there's one thing to formulate this plan of the great move. But there's a whole other thing to actually executing uh, this plan. And it looks like there are no longer any rules in this geopolitical chessboard, because even if you look at the sport of football, there's certain rules and regulations, but now it looks like all the laws and regulations are out the window. And so now we're seeing with the war in Iran, uh, that these Gulf states are being attacked. These Gulf states are being complicit to the actions of Israel. And so uh, there is a consensus in the Arabic world that the United States and Israel should not exist anymore. And we're seeing that the Middle Eastern energetic and resources uh, control is being handled by the ex students of the American educational system that are now based in Israel. And it definitely looks like there is a place for the Israeli Jewish people. There's a place waiting for them in the Slavic lands. And so it looks like they have started this great move. And this great move is being executed to great precision, because we're seeing cemeteries are being filled and are expanding every day in Ukraine and in Russia. And we know that in history, when these people used to sail the seas, they would hang these huge flags that would say, "Look, uh, we are the great victims, and so accept us into your world." And so they have done this many, many times throughout the world. And so when they came to what now is Ukraine, they basically told the population that, look, now we will teach you what civilization is. Now we will teach you what democracy is. Now we will teach you how to really operate. And so I just want to say this to Ukrainians and to Russians, to, really hold on tight, fasten your seatbelt, because they're setting up that land and this war to be a forever war. And they're clearing up those lands to set up their new government. And and of course, this is not a happy news to me or to you, Nazar. You know, I just want to ask you a last question, because our the time that we agreed to was coming to an end. I just want to tell you thank you so much that you're giving us this time. I know you're busy, and a lot of times people write me and tell me, look, they both sort of say all these nice things about one another, but I say these things because they're true, and this is the minimum of what I could do to thank you, because you're one of these people right now in the Eastern so-called Russian-speaking world that stand out, because we can ask you all these different topics, questions on all these different topics, such as religion and philosophy. And anything even in sub pop cultures, it's like you really have a grasp on the situation from different angles, and this is why you're so different from many of these geopolitical experts. So I have a last question for you for today, um, and I want to ask you a very grounded question, so we don't go into some crazy stratosphere. You did have a video, a short, as we call it, for 7 reasons explaining why you are not in Russia. And a lot of people are bothering and always asking you that question: why are you not in Russia? Because obviously, if you would go to Russia, you would be a mega famous person, just like you are, in the Ukrainian world. People would love to see you over there. So my question is not why are you not in Russia? My question is, look, we know that you are from Novaya Kakhovka originally, and Novaya Kakhovka is under the Russian control. And so let's say that for sure that territory, your city of origin, will go over to Russia under under the Russian constitution, meaning that it will be undisputed. So, and we know that you are a political, you have a political asylum in Turkey. So basically, your country is still Ukraine. How would you accept the fact that you would have to go back to now not Ukraine but Russia? Like, what would that process look like? As far as different passports, have you ever thought about this? Different passports and different things. Um, Look, there are many things that are not under my control. I still have the Ukrainian passport. God bless you. As we say in the Slavic lands, when you sneeze, you're saying the truth. I have the blue Ukrainian passport that was taken from me without my control. And I had no control when they took away my Soviet passport and gave me this new blue Ukrainian passport. And when you speak about me being a political, having a political asylum, you have to understand that my now home, the place where I lived, was in Kiev. And now I cannot go back to Kiev because there are sanctions imposed on me. And so I can't even sell my property. I can't control anything that happens with what I own back in Ukraine. I can't live there. I cannot sell it. I can't do anything with my estate. And I didn't steal this estate. I earned this through hard work. You know, when all of these so called modern Ukrainian politicians are stealing billions of dollars on the death of children, um, someone like me that has earned my way to the top of the Ukrainian entertainment world, I got everything taken away from me because I spoke out. I said my opinion in regards to what will happen in 2022. And of course, I'm not perfect. I can make mistakes, but I speak out my opinion. And if you think about what's going on in the YouTube world and in the online world, there's different paradigms that are being formed of people, speaking about, giving people different kinds of information, and they're doing it for money or they do it for other reasons. And I did it for the truth. And so, to answer your question, I don't even know what will happen to my estate, to my property. I don't know if they will take it from me completely. I don't know if my children will ever be able to go back to Ukraine, because if this replanning, redirecting of Ukraine will be executed completely, where there's a new constitution, there are new laws, just like when it happened after the Soviet Union, because one day we just woke up after the Soviet Union saying, look, you're not Soviet anymore, you're in Ukraine now, you know, and what will happen now? Who knows? Now they will wake up and say, look, Slavs are no longer welcome here. Now it's the Israeli Jews that are living here. And who knows? Because if you look at what's going on now, it's like the Jewish population in Ukraine they're living well. They light up menorahs and they celebrate different holidays, and I'm pretty sure that they're speaking amongst each other and saying, look at these fools, man, like, we just kind of put them onto the bus and send them off to the meat grinder. So I don't know what will happen to me tomorrow. What I know is that right now the city that I'm from and all of my family is still there, all my relatives, my aunties, my uncles, my cousins, they are still in the territory of Novaya Kakhovka. They live the way they used to live, but they are living under attacks, under bombardments, every single day. And so these old Khrushchev buildings are being shaken and shattered from the bombings. And my city, Novaya Kakhovka, was a very new project in the Soviet Union, because there were two big factories that were built there, and a huge dam, of course, the one that was flooded. And so my nephew, for example, that is taking care of his grandma, he has seen people being blown to pieces in in nearby neighborhoods. And when the construction workers come, or the EMTs come, they get bombed on the spot, and so they're getting bombed by the Ukrainian forces. So the people in Novaya Kakhovka, what are they supposed to do? They are under attack from the Ukrainian forces. And this city was so-called Ukrainian for all these years. And so now it's under the Russian control. And, all the Ukrainian mobile carriers and everything, they're off. Now they're supposed to adjust to the Russian way of life. They have to buy the SIM cards and the internet service, for example, that is Russian. Let's say, the older people that were getting pensions, now they have to reapply to receive pensions from Russia, and they have, and so it's a big question mark, you know, because what are they supposed to do? Should they strap on bombs to themselves and walk out in front of the Ukrainian army and say, look, I'll blow you up, notice that I'm here? What are they supposed to do? Macron or van der Leyen or any of these European leaders, they're not seeing any of these atrocities. And so right now, again, my city is under Russian control. And now that the city is being bombed nonstop, I can't go back there. The Ukrainian government has oppressed my children, have imposed sanctions on my children, and thanks to the Turkish government that has welcomed us here, and we have been here now for several years, and so it's so crazy to what's going on now. We don't know what will happen tomorrow, what will be with Ukraine. How far and which direction will this war go? And, if you think about the conflict in the Middle East, we don't know, because look at Turkey. Turkey is a NATO country, and it's probably, the second biggest military force in NATO. Maybe it's the first military force in NATO. But from the feelings that I'm getting, the atmosphere inside Turkey is, the Turkish forces and the Turkish government is saying, look, we're not aligned to NATO if we're talking about the Arabic world, or the Turkish world. We are one Turkey. And uh and Erdogan, he has done a phenomenal job with Turkey. It's been a peaceful country for a long time, but with everything that's going on now, we don't even know what will happen in this territory. So what I'm trying to say is, God forbid, a war breaks out in Turkey, because everything is going off the rails these days. And so we don't know what tomorrow will bring. We don't know what awaits in tomorrow. And the most important thing, that Ukraine right now is a concentration camp. The population is under attack. The people are being robbed. With literally with their lives, with their resources, with their time, with their money, with every kind of way you can think of. They're being robbed right now, and people are stuck there. They cannot leave for many different reasons. There's different reasons in different families. And thank God that we are where we are, because we are alive, we're breathing, and we're able to speak our opinions. We are unifying amongst one another to sort of fight back in this information war, this information age. And so I want all of us to join hands and to ask the Almighty that this common enemy gets what it's coming to them. And so, thank you, Snezhana. I'm trying my best to spread your word to the English speaking world. Um, and it's so terrible, because I know that in Novaya Kakhovka, the regular people, the civilians, are getting bombed. Um, and we know that in Donetsk, people are getting bombed. In Lviv, people are not getting bombarded, and thank God for that. And I just want to remind everyone that, look, everywhere, Ukraine is under bombardment, but the Jewish center, it's called Manora in Dnipropetrovsk. It's safe. It's doing well. It's never under any sort of attacks. Think of that, whatever you want. And I just want to remind everyone that, look, Snezhana Egorova, the one thing that we really like about her, that is she doesn't speak by script. When she's here, she's speaking what she's feeling, and she even sneezed like 3 times during this conversation, which in the Slavic traditions, we say that she was speaking the truth. And of course, she's being asked to appear on all of these the biggest bloggers in the world right now, as far as in Russian speaking world. And so she gives us the time. She comes here and she speaks to us. And so I want to remind everyone, go and support uh, Snezhana Egorova, and remember that thankfully her children will hopefully be the new leaders of the world tomorrow. And lastly, I wanted to ask you, I mean, that was what my last question was, that if Ukraine becomes Russia, how will you accept that? But you kind of, answered that to the best of your ability. So I want to say, Snezhana, you have always been the voice of reason. Um, let's do this again, obviously. Uh, and so, lastly, if you want to say anything to the good people of Prove to Me that You're Alive, look, Nazar says that I sacrifice a lot of things and I'm not getting anything in return. That's not exactly the truth, because I spend my life energy for all of the people that think alike, to be able to connect and possibly wake up the people that are still in the sleep state or in half of sleep state, and for those people to be able to decide what side are you really on today. And so we want to drag as many of these people to our side, so maybe the people that are actually making, executing any sort of control, maybe they could be pulled into our circles as well. And you know that something that's much stronger than AI or anything else, is your desire to smile and be a human being. And when you feel that someone else wants to give you that energy that they give to their loved ones, the energy that they give to their family, and all of a sudden they're sharing that energy with you, uh, and the world, and they share with you their sincere feeling of love and of change. The more that we have this sincere intention to do great and to share this sense of love, the more we will be able to fight back. And I don't want anyone to ever think that you can't do nothing, that you are powerless. Well, that is something you can do, is to share that love, share that smile, because the original cause of war and of all this anger is hatred. And so the opposite of hatred is, of course, love, which is God. And so let us all share this feeling of love instead of looking at what's in your pocket, because we have this great saying in Russian that when you're in your grave, you won't be able to pay for anything with your wallet. And so what will be left? And so that's my answer. That's what I want to share with all of the NazareN family. Snezhana, thank you.
Prove to me that you are alive.